Hello, 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 my peeps. Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday and it's another edition of Chattings with Bernie. I'm your host, Bernadine, and welcome to episode 39. So we're slowly chugging along. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Drop a comment, say hello, share the live. Okay, so if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We stream live Thursdays at 9 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And a few of the topics we'll be discussing tonight are we'll be doing a recap of the Johnny Depp and versus Amber Heard trial, touching on Elon Musk buying Twitter. There's an arrest warrant that was issued for Simon. He's a guy from the Tinder Swindler in Spain, and also touching on a little bit of some social media issues that are going on with Queenie and Dewey and The Official and Jelani and stuff. So, we'll also have other stories that we're going to touch on as well. So previous episodes can be found on YouTube, so visit the site. Like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications to be notified when we go live. This is a talk show where, we discuss sports. Raptors are playing right now. Politics, current affair, a little bit of entertainment gossip, and all of that stuff. So, as usual, we're going to start with our entertainment section. And Elon Musk, on Monday, he bought Twitter for $44 billion with a B dollars. He's the CEO of Tesla and also the richest man on earth. He plans to take the social media company private and has said that he wants Twitter to adhere more closely to the principles of free speech, which in a statement Musk called the bedrock of a functioning democracy. He describes Twitter as a digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. Musk himself is a frequent tweeter and is assumed that he will continue to use the platform. I always find that people who talk about freedom of speech are people who always wants to say things that are not PC, things that are very offensive, racist, misogynistic, and other stuff. They're the ones that more frequently have issues with what they call freedom of speech. So we'll see what happens with Twitter and how much of a freedom of speech you'll have on that platform. Konshen, he's a Jamaican reggae artist. His wife Latoya Spence was reported missing for a short period of time on Wednesday. However, she was eventually found in a hospital. Apparently, she had an accident and was admitted to the hospital. Nobody knew where she was. He was calling her. She was not responding, so he started calling different hospitals. When he still couldn't find her, he reached out to the police, reported her missing, and they eventually found her in an hospital. Apparently, she's 4 months pregnant, so there was cause for concern there as well. If you can hear me, if you're joining me, Lloyd and Rita, just drop a comment. Let me know you can hear me clearly. And say hello, say hi. Don't be shy, We're friends. Moving on. So in the Town and Country today, there was a article on J-Lo's 6 engagement rings. So I'm just going to touch on the breakdown of the 6 rings. So the first one was given to her by her first husband, Johnny Noah, in 1977. And apparently that particular diamond ring was $100,000. The second ring was given to her by Chris Judd. And now he's her backup dancer that she married. And apparently that particular ring also cost 6 figures. That marriage lasted just over a year. And just as a point of mention, she got with Chris after she left P. Diddy. Her third ring was with from Ben Affleck, and apparently it was a 6.10 carat radiant cut pink Harry Winston diamond. They were engaged in 2002. And I guess because she went to a colored stone, that kind of started the trend for more people looking at colored diamonds, and apparently it dramatically increased the price of pink diamonds. Her fourth ring was given to her by Mark Anthony, who and that was a 8.5 blue diamond ring from Harry Winston. They got married in 2003, separated in 2011, finalized their divorce in 2015. Her fifth ring was given to her by A-Rod. He proposed in 2019 with an emerald cut diamond that was estimated to be between 10 and 15 carats in worth in the range of $1 to $5 million. They broke off their engagement in early 2021, and her sixth ring was given to her by Ben Affleck. They're calling it version 2.0, after they rekindled their relationship in 2021. So apparently, she has a green diamond. Green is her favorite color, so let's hope that it'll bring her luck in this sixth engagement and third marriage. So good luck to her. So I just found it quite interesting that Town and Country did a breakdown of the different rings, the increase in value with each engagement, the different styles, different colors, different designs. But one thing in common is that Harry Winston provided most of the engagement rings. So I thought that was interesting. So we're going to circle around to Spain in the entertainment section, and Simon Leviev, the subject of the documentary Tinder Swindler, warrant has been issued for his arrest in Spain. Apparently he could face prison after an arrest warrant was issued because he provided a false passport in Greece. So he's been probed because he used a fake driving license after getting his 80,000-pound Maserati stuck on a Spanish beach during a day out with a mystery blonde. Apparently he told cops he was a holiday maker called Michael Bilton, and according to police, produced a false license in one of the aliases he's known to have used. A police officer who specialized in spotting falsified documents identified the bogus diamond trader who met women on Tinder before allegedly conning them out of millions. So this should be interesting to see whether or not it's an international arrest warrant, meaning a worldwide arrest warrant, or it's just specific to Spain, and see whether or not he gets extradited back to them. Moving on to Blac Chyna. Her trial is still continuing, with everyone so far testifying that Chyna was the abuser in the relationship and that she always abusing Rob. So Corey Gamble, who is Kris Jenner's boyfriend, he testified that he personally have seen Chyna physically abuse Rob, and he mentioned that at one point when he went to to stop her from hitting him, he himself got hit. I think that particular point it was with the phone cord. Rob also testified that she hit him several times and has put a gun to his head several times. And apparently she was not just physically abusive, but she was also verbally abusive, calling him fat and all kinds of different names. Kris Jenner is also claiming that Chyna threatened her as well, and apparently she tried to kill Rob. So there's a lot of things that are coming out in this particular trial. We'll see what happens with that. The Kardashians have asked the judge to dismiss the lawsuit. That has not yet happened. So the trial is continuing. It's still ongoing. Okay. Another trial that's getting really, really crazy is the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. That particular trial is really, there's some bizarre things that are coming out of there. Johnny Depp testified earlier this week. The court has adjourned for this week. They will pick up again on Monday because they don't do courts on that particular trial. They don't run on Friday. So this is the end of the third week for that trial. Few of the things that have come out is that they suspected that at one point when Johnny Depp was late for Amber's birthday party and then had to leave again, they suspected that Amber pooped on the bed and blame it on the dogs. And they're saying that because of the size of the dogs, there's no way that the dogs could have done that, because that was that was human fecal matter. Another psychologist that Johnny Depp hired stated that Amber has borderline personality disorder. Johnny Depp's agent testified that Amber's allegation caused Johnny Depp to not be signed to do the next Pirates of the Caribbean, because Disney dropped him when the allegations of domestic abuse came out. And so that cost him millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. The cops that went to investigate a couple of times when Amber called the police when they were fighting, they claimed that they never saw any bruises on Amber on the times that they show up. That's critical, because Amber stated that the bruise that she has was from those incidents. So if the cops said that they show up and they didn't see any bruise on her at that time, where did the bruise come from? So that, that would be meaning that they're lying, or somebody's lying and stuff. They also, the former doorman at the condo penthouses that they lived at, he also stated that that he wasn't there when the police were called, but he was there the next day, and he didn't see any bruises. Not that he was looking for any, but and seeing her around and having access to her, he didn't see any bruises. But there was a lot of time spent on makeup and the different coverages of makeup. There's also the Muffin Gate, where the psychologist, the lawyer tried to get the psychologist to talk about muffins and whatever. The house manager also testified in his testimony, again, put Johnny in a bad light, put Amber in a bad light. But it's like watching a slow train wreck. It's just crazy. I mean, Howard Stern is also now injecting himself into the situation by claiming that Johnny's a huge narcissist and that he's overacting at the trial. As a reminder, Johnny is suing Amber for defamation, seeking damages of $100 million. Amber is countersuing that and claiming that she's countersuing for $100 million because Johnny called her a liar. So next Monday is the next trial date. Maybe I think Amber's people will be the ones that are up, because each side has a specific amount of time that they have to present their arguments and their facts and all of that stuff. So it's been interesting. A little bit of savagery. It's really, really sad. When two people are married and then you have people recording, like Amber did a lot of recording of Johnny when he wasn't doing well, feeling well, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's been really, really crazy. It's a little bit sad as well to listen to all of that going on. It's really not good, and sad to say, it does make for good entertainment, but it is what it is, Sanchez, who's a veteran Jamaican singer, is mourning the death of his mother, Miss Bridget Gardner Ivy, who passed away on last Tuesday. She was living here in Canada. She was 74. Sanchez, whose given name is Kevin Jackson, was too distraught to speak with a star, but his wife Monica shared the details. Right now, Kevin has no words. He's not talking to anybody. Him just shut down. We're all saddened, but in a way we're thankful because she's not suffering anymore. Apparently, she was diagnosed with cancer and given 3 to 6 months to live. And she had stopped talking for a period of time, and, she passed. So she was a mother of 5, and Sanchez was the oldest child. Moving on to the sports section, and our Raptors are currently playing Philadelphia in Game 6. They're not doing too well. They're down by about 20 points right now. So, yeah, this may be it for them because it's going to be hard for them to come back. But, I mean, Philadelphia was up 3-0. Raptors won 2 games in a row. They did well. Fred hasn't played in Game 5. He's not playing now. And, so if today's the day that, their season ended, they overachieved. Apparently this year is supposed to be a rebuild year, and they overachieved. They're overachieving because they're in the playoffs and they're in Game 6. So kudos to them. I'm going to go on record saying Embiid is a dirty player. Some of the cheap shots that he's taken on Boucher and Pascal, not warranted, but we didn't get swept like Brooklyn did. Brooklyn had their power team and still got swept, but we didn't. So still loving my Raps, and game's not over yet, but it's going to be hard for them to come back from that deficit. So we'll see that next year. Maple Leafs have been doing well. They've made the playoffs. They've won 7 of their last 10 games, and they're currently on a 2-game winning streak. Their next game is on Friday. They're presently second in the Atlantic Division, and they've clinched home ice in the first round of the playoffs. Also, Austin Matthews has scored 60 goals so far this season. He's the first Leaf player to score 60 goals in the regular season, and there's opportunities for him to score more goals. Toronto FC, they lost their last game that they played in New York last Saturday against the New York City FC. They're playing this Saturday against Cincinnati. They're presently 5th in their Eastern Conference division. Season is still young, so they've got a ways to go to move up. They can move up further. Blue Jays, they're on a roll. They lost last night against the Boston Red Sox, but they played earlier today. They did beat Boston, and they won that game. So I think they're either first or second in their division, but they've won every series that they've played so far. I think they've probably only tied 1 and won the rest of them. So Jays are doing good. Leafs are doing good. Raptors did well. FC still have a little bit of work to do, but things are going well. Hey Colleen, how are you? Thanks for checking in. So we're going to start on our news stories tonight, and there's some big things happening in Jamaica right now. Cocaine valued at nearly $75 million, and a large sum of US dollars that will take some time to count, because at the end of yesterday, early into the day, they hadn't finished counting. So, and those items were seized during a series of coordinated police operations in Western Jamaica on Tuesday. So they're estimating that over $5 million US cash and $550,000 worth of cocaine were reportedly seized during a joint police military operation in St. James on Tuesday. Again, the investigators are still in the process of tallying the amount of cash seized. Reports are that about 7:30 a.m. a police motor car was intercepted by police in Carroll Gardens in St. James and was searched, during which 11 kilograms of cocaine was found. A 46-year-old businessman was taken into custody in connection with that incident. Hours later, about 11:30 a.m., investigators, acting on information, went to a house in the same area and found a large quantity of U.S. and Canadian currency. The police believe the cash is likely the proceeds of criminal activities. And the thing to note with this particular businessman was that he was to be extradited to the USA, I think in 2005, because he was caught up in another situation and the US had issued a warrant for him and he was supposed to be extradited along with a few others. However, there was a stipulation that he was supposed to be extradited within 60 days and the 60 days had passed and he hadn't been extradited, so he appealed that extradition order, won that case, and has been in Jamaica since. Now, again, he's caught up in this situation. Another lady was arrested in Westmoreland as a part of this operations that they did. So, according to news reports, it's an international investigation that's been going on. And also today, again, boats, about 700 pounds of marijuana was found, along with some fishermen and some other stuff. So recently there's been a lot of drug seizure and a lot of cash seizure happening in Jamaica. So we'll see how those things play out and we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to circle around to Wisconsin. And the 14-year-old boy accused of murdering 10-year-old Lily Peters allegedly strangled her to death and then sexually assaulted her. A 14-year-old boy. Okay, so Lily Peters, age 10, went missing on Sunday in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, after an afternoon spent with her aunt Lori Davis and her boyfriend John Rapido. Prosecutors with the Chippewa Falls District Attorney's Office said in court Wednesday. During the suspect's first court appearance, District Attorney Wade Newell alleged that after being arrested, the teen confessed that he intended to commit the crime when he left the house with the victim going down the trail. So Lily's father reported her missing Sunday night after she failed to return home after a visit to her aunt's house. During that time, her abandoned bike was found near a walking trail close to the aunt's home. On Monday, law enforcement searched for her and found her bike behind her aunt's house. Her body was found on Monday in a wooded area just off a footpath and less than half a mile from her home. From the home she shared with her parents and her brother. The district attorney is asking for $1 million bond, as he detailed how the boy punched the victim in the stomach, knocked her to the ground, and strangled her to the point of death, and then sexually assaulted her. They also want to charge him as an adult, as opposed to charging him as a teenager, as a young offender. They want to charge him as an adult. The defense is asking that the amount of bail be lowered to $100,000 from $1 million, claiming that they don't believe that the suspect is a flight risk. He is 14 years old and an 8th grader, and he cannot drive. He's not in a position to raise much money, frankly, at all on his own. The judge sided with the prosecution, stating this is a serious charge, and because of serious charges, there are serious consequences. Judge is saying that he's a serious threat to the community, and the court is concerned that he could be a further threat to another individual if he was no longer in custody. So the bail is set at $1 million, and his next court appearance is May 5th. But imagine that at age 14, you have the wherewithal, the thought, the thinking to plan to kill a 10-year-old and also then sexually assault a 10-year-old. He should be charged as an adult and sentenced to jail for life, because he's not supposed to come back out of prison at all at his age. So we're going to circle to Florida, and a Florida sheriff arrested his own daughter this month on meth trafficking charges. The man said, "Now I'm playing a favorite." Franklin County Sheriff A.J. Smith confirmed that his daughter Kristen Kent had been arrested under suspicion of meth trafficking a couple of days earlier. He said, methamphetamine does not discriminate, and neither do we," Smith wrote on the officer's Facebook page. "It does not matter who you are. No one is immune or exempt." The daughter is charged with amphetamine traffic or methamphetamine 14 grams or over, drug equipment possession and or use, as well as cocaine possession. Sheriff said, "Now I'm playing no business if I'm daughter, family member, whoever." Meth plays no favorite, so he ain't gonna play any favorite either. I'm like, yo, that was quite interesting when I saw it. I thought it was fun. So if you're just joining me, say hi, say hello, drop a comment. Let me know that you're here. We're going to circle back to Toronto, and this was reported yesterday that 4 firearms have been recovered and 86 charges were laid after 2 men were arrested in a Toronto police investigation. Good night, Lynetta. How are you? Thanks for checking in. It is alleged that a man attempted to gain access to a nightclub in the College and Crawford Streets area back in April, and while in possession of a firearm, he was denied entry. He then left with another man and police were called. While investigating both men near a vehicle, one of them fled on foot and officers located him close to a residence in the area. A firearm was allegedly located close to him as well. 2 other loaded firearms were located inside a satchel on the roof of a nearby garage. Police seized the vehicle and obtained a search warrant that resulted in the location of a 4th firearm inside the vehicle and a quantity of Percocet pills. Police later confirmed the vehicle was stolen. So Joshua Jeffrey Henry, age 25, and Fahad Yonan, age 23, both of Toronto, were arrested and charged, and they appeared in court on April 25th. Young boys. My Raptors aren't doing so well. Anyways, we're going to circle around to Florida, and I found this particular story was quite interesting. So, a Transportation Security Administration officer, a TSA officer, has been arrested after she allegedly submitted a false burglary report to avoid being disciplined at work. Taleta Collier, age 34, was taken into custody by Polka County Sheriff's Office deputies on Monday following an investigation into her claims last month. On March 20th, Miss Collier allegedly told her boss that she was late to work because of a violent burglary at her parents' house, during which she used her TSA-issued weapon. Miss Collier, who worked at Tampa International Airport, was then unable to provide her boss with a reference number or copy of the report that she made to the police department. When she was again asked to prove the crime had taken place or been reported, she then provided her boss at the TSA with a photo of a partial report that was allegedly fake. She concocted a story of facing off against an alleged armed burglary suspect attempting to break into her parents' house. Vehicle is the reason she was late for work, said the sheriff. Neither her parents nor the PCSO department she listed on the fake report knew anything about this so-called burglary. Miss Collier, who had been on supervision at work for tardiness, was taken to Polk County Jail following her arrest and according to sheriffs, did not answer immediate questions about the burglary at her parents' house. They're stating that they don't understand why someone would go to the extent of creating a false police report to avoid a reprimand at work for tardiness. Hey Erica, how are you? Thanks for checking in. So now, not only is she going to be losing her job, she's also now going to go to jail. It better she just go work late and done and hope that she might have been put on, what's that, probation, or try to get to work on time. Wake up 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, and now she'll go jail. She'll lose her job and go jail. Stupid is as stupid does. Stupid is as stupid does. My Raptors ain't doing so well. Oh well. This was expected. Anyways, we're going to circle around to Alabama. And an Arby's employee was arrested Saturday after throwing hot grease onto a customer during an altercation in the drive-thru. According to the police officers who responded around 3:15 p.m. to the report after an altercation between an employee and a customer. First responders arrived to provide medical treatment to the victim that had been doused with hot grease. The victim, who suffered second-degree burns over a large portion of her body, was transported to the hospital for further treatment. Shay Denise Peoples, age 50, was arrested and charged with first-degree assault. Her bond was set at $30,000. The police department confirms that the case is still under investigation, and a civil lawsuit was filed on Monday on behalf of the victim against Arby's and the local owners of the restaurant, seeking compensatory damages. So Miss Peoples has been terminated, and she's facing assault charges, and it's sad. I don't know. They never stated, or there's no video to show what happened, why she went to the extreme of throwing hot oil on somebody else. And for those of you who fry fish or fry chicken or do any fry, I don't know, so when I'll burn your hot and strip, you can imagine, man, that hurts. That hurts. Whew, she was having a very bad day. But we're going to circle around to New York. And a Long Island man was arrested after allegedly shooting a 4-year-old boy who rang his doorbell as a prank. Reports said that James Moshier, age 64, was charged with assault and recklessly injuring a child with a deadly weapon after allegedly shooting the teen in the arm on his Laurel property around 9 p.m. So there's this thing where I forgot, they have a name for it. It's called like ring and dash or something of that event. So the teen knocked on Moshe's his front door and his back door several times, causing a woman who lived in the home to believe it was being burglarized. She woke up Moshe, who went to his back door and allegedly fired a shotgun at the teen. Several other teens who were at a sleepover with the shooting victim told the TV station that he and another friend were bored and had picked a random home in the neighborhood to doorbell ditch. So that's when you they come up, ring your doorbell, and run away. So then you go to open the door and there's nobody there. Doorbell ditch. The teen was treated at the hospital. Moshe was freed on $20,000 bail, and a court date is set for next week. But out of carelessness and idleness, the kid could have lost his life. Out of carelessness and idleness, you could be the parent that get a phone call that your child was killed because of a prank. My Raptors lost. Raptors lost. They fought a good fight. We'll see them next year and we'll see what happens. So we're going to move on to New York, and 6 reputed mobsters who allegedly served in various roles in the Genovese crime family were charged in a racketeering conspiracy in Manhattan federal court on Tuesday. The 6 alleged wise guys, including 2 Kappa regimes, raked in money for the syndicate from 2011 to 2022 through a pattern of racketeering activity, which included extortion and illegal gambling, according to the indictment against them. The suspects were members and associates of an organized criminal enterprise known as the Genovese Organized Crime Family of La Cosa Nostra, whose members and associates engaged in crime included making extortionate extensions of credit. So the alleged mobsters charged include capos Nicholas Calisi and Ralph Balsamo, soldiers Michael Messina and John Campanella, and associates Michael Poli and Thomas Poli. So you notice them have different levels. There's the capos, the soldiers, and then the associates. And they were charged in the Southern District of New York. And if you know the Southern District of New York, that DA, she don't play. That lady that's there, she's not playing. She's the one that's going after Trump. So she's not playing. So all of the 6 suspects face a maximum of 20 years in prison if convicted. So it stems from extortion to illegal gambling. And, the trial will take place over several months. They've just been arrested, so it's going to be a while before they go to trial, and it's going to be a while before, anything happened with them. But they've been the mafias have been fairly quiet recently over the last few years, since most of their major players have either been killed or in jail. So this was interesting to see that there's still members of them that, it's expected that the organization will continue, but that they're being arrested. So we're going to circle around to Washington. And a mother was left critically injured after she fell out of an 8-story window in Washington, D.C. with ropes tied around her legs, leading to her boyfriend's arrest. Hey, Colleen said that is fine. We're not the only 1-9-day talk. At this point, it's just going to be a 1-day talk on to the next tomorrow, and that's it. So, after she fell out the 8-story window, hours later, an Amber Alert was issued for the couple's son. So the lady's name is Lania Lewis. She fell from the 8th floor of the Connecticut house apartment with some type of rope tied around her legs. Authority also confirmed Lewis and Kylie Jamal Palmer, age 22, who has since been arrested and with whom the victim shares a son, were involved in a domestic dispute inside a residence on the 8th floor of the building before Palmer fled the scene after Lewis fell. Police were not able to confirm whether Lewis had been pushed or if she jumped from the building, as the case is still under investigation. Bystanders found Lewis alive but with significant injuries. She was taken to a local hospital for treatment. They say that she's stable but in critical condition. So after that, Palmer is a boyfriend, so he provided information to authorities that also led to his arrest. They said that he was distraught, and based on the information that he provided, they think that he was a suspect in the case. He was charged on Friday with assault with intent to kill, possession of an unregistered firearm, and possession of a large capacity ammunition feeding device. They also revealed that they found a rifle-style ghost gun in the residence, but so far there's been no report of gunshots. A few hours before Lewis fell, there was an Amber Alert that was issued for the pair's son, Kylie Palmer, and the son was eventually found at a different address in the night with a family member. They're saying that they're not sure how the kid got to be at the family member's residence, but they're reporting that the son is safe. So that's good. So if you're just joining, drop a comment, say hello, say hi, share the live, and let's have a conversation. So we're going to circle around to Jamaica, and this particular story was it was interesting based on the judge's comments that she made. So 2 men who failed to carry compensation money to court was ordered by the judge, were ordered locked up when they appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew court empty-handed on Thursday. In one of the matters, Vasani Kerr, a 21-year-old man who admitted to stealing more than $530,000 from his girlfriend earlier this year, was expected to hand over $200,000 in restitution, but failed to do so. You can imagine you're a thief from your own girlfriend. Kerr, who is in custody, told the judge that he was not able to come up with the money. The judge said, "You got paid last week Friday and you don't bring nothing at all. Why you never come with no money?" Senior Parish Judge Laurie and Cole Montague asked Kerr, who has so far paid back just more than $100,000. Kerr pleaded guilty to 2 counts of larceny and housebreaking in January. It was reported that the 22-year-old complainant, who is a student at the Michael University College pursuing a Bachelor of Education degree in primary education, entrusted Kerr with $200,000 to pay her tuition. However, he took half the money for himself. A careless man that, careless man that. The court heard that Kerr also broke into the complainant's home and stole $435,000. Kerr's bail was revoked on Tuesday after he came to court empty-handed. The judge gave him until Thursday to come up with the $200,000, but told the judge that his efforts to come up with the money proved futile. "Your Honor, I reached out to my father, but unfortunately he's not able to help. Given the fact that you told me that I must bring $200,000, I wanted to bring all of it. I did have money for somebody who said they would assist me with something. So he was going to use his credit card to give me the money. But he said he owed the bank, and in order for him to use his credit card again to assist me, he needs to clear up that debt." Cole Montague was not impressed with his explanation, she said. "So you prefer to clear up that debt than the court debt?" the judge asked, before ordering that he be remanded in custody until May 19th. A young man who is serious about the case would have come up with something. He would have come and said, "Judge, I know it's not the amount that you say I must come with, but please accept this and look at this amount as me trying, as a mitigation, as me trying." "You're joking," the judge says. But the first part of it is the fact that the man thief in girlfriend money. She give him the money to go pay her student fee. And him thief her fight. Then him broke in her house and go thief more her money. A careless man that. Careless man. There's also a second case matter where Shaquan Folks, who was ordered to bring $80,000 as compensation to his sister, who he assaulted following an argument over $2,000, did not bring a dime. He told the court that he did not remember the reason he was before the court or why he was ordered to make compensation. The judge was not amused. "You are a man most dishonest. You are telling me you pleaded guilty. You are for sentencing. You signed that you will pay money and you don't remember what you did. Just for the dry eye dishonesty, you are remanded. Sort out yourself and get some money here." She then revoked his bail and ordered him locked up until May 10th. The judge now play. Judge say, "You don't bring money, we locking you up. We are locking you up." So we're going to circle around to North Carolina. And a North Carolina family visited the sheriff's office hours before the father murdered his girlfriend and their 2 young kids, then torched their house and killed himself. Authorities say Ashod Ewing Meeks, age 26, went to the Davie County Sheriff's Office with his family on April 18th and asked to speak with a deputy, but didn't make it past the reception desk. About 2 hours later, he fatally shot his girlfriend Ashton Brown, age 26, and their children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks. The dad then set fire to the house and turned the gun on himself. Hartman said the couple had their kids with them when they entered the local sheriff's office around 12:11 p.m. and asked to speak to a deputy. They were very vague about what they wanted. The receptionist had also asked for their contact information and was allegedly given an address belonging to Brown's parents. The family walked out after 4 minutes without seeing an officer, and it's unclear why they left. So it's unclear why they went there to begin with, and it's unclear why they left without seeing anybody. So at about 12:35 p.m., Brown then called 911, apparently from inside a car, and asked to speak with an officer about unspecified safety concerns. So Brown is the baby mother. About 10 minutes later, an officer called Brown back and briefly spoke to her before the call dropped or was ended. Brown had told the officer she was calling for her boyfriend and handed the phone to Ewing Meeks. The officer called back 3 more times and spoke with Ewing Meeks, who said someone was following him, but he refused to drive back to the sheriff's office or tell the officer his exact location. The last 2 calls from the sheriff officer at shortly after 1 p.m. went directly to voicemail. At about 2 p.m., a neighbor saw the couple arguing in front of their home. 15 minutes later, firefighters were called to the house amid reports that it was on fire. After the fire was extinguished, they recovered the bodies inside the home. Apparently the fire was intentionally set, and Mr. Meeks was deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and we found the gun that matches all this actually still in Mr. Meeks' hands. So in one shot, a whole family is wiped out. Wow. So we're going to circle around to Georgia, and 2 Georgian men have been arrested about 1 month after allegedly kidnapping a woman at a gas station. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office announced Wednesday that Atlanta resident Quentin Williams, age 21, and Rodriguez Allen, 19, of Covington were both arrested and charged with the felony crime of kidnapping. Inmate records show that Allen was also charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or first offender probationer. It is alleged that Allen and Williams made advances to the female victim, Monqua Johnson, against her will when she was at an Exxon gas station on March 20th on Glenwood Road in Decatur. When she declined, the suspects allegedly abducted her, put her in the trunk of a car, releasing her later on Wesley Chapel Road. Both suspects were apprehended on Wednesday in DeKalb County by the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Unit. They were taken to the county jail, where they're currently being held without bond. So apparently they met her at the gas station. They allegedly entered the gas station, went to a game room in the back. They allegedly forcefully removed the victim by pulling her hair and forcing her into the vehicle. The victim was only able to convince the males to let her leave the car after saying that her cousin was following the car. That was reportedly when she was let out on the side of the road. And how they found out who it was because they were ID'd on the gas station surveillance video. Because again, one of the abductor was ID'd due to his clothes, which was matching photos on his social media page. You can't even go to a gas station in peace nowadays. What is wrong with people? Man, we're going to circle around to Jamaica. And two employees of a hotel on the outskirts of the corporate area disputed the amount mentioned by the prosecution. So they pled guilty to simply larceny, but they're disputing the amount that they stole. The court heard that on February 20th, Everett Barnett, a security guard, and Sidani Mitchell, a cashier and housekeeper, were seen on surveillance footage using an object to open the complainant's locker and stole $279,000 as well as US $100. But they told Chief Parish Judge Chester Crooks in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court that the reported sum was incorrect. It wasn't no $279,000. That's a lie. I got $40,000. I took it, Mitchell told the court, while Barnett added that he only stole $40,000. He only stole $50,000, so that would make $90,000. However, the prosecutors affirmed the amount, and the complainant said that it was her personal savings. It was further revealed to the court that Barnett can be heard on a recording admitted that he received the money from Mitchell. When asked by Crooks if they were prepared to repay the complainant as part of sentencing, Mitchell said she only walked with $40,000 and Barnett only had $10,000 in his possessions. Initially, Crooks was minded to remand the defendants in custody pending sentencing, but he instead offered $100,000 bail with surety. They were ordered to surrender their passports and a stop order was imposed. They are to report to the police once a week and must not contact or interfere with the complainant, and they are both subjected to fingerprint order and are expected to return to court on June 7th when they are to be sentenced. So them never did say camera in the locker room when they were going. If stupid crime was man, so stupid. We're staying in Jamaica, and this particular story was very, very interesting. So two fishermen were fined $4. $4 in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday for illegally fishing in the Port Royal Fairway last month. The men, John Fang and Paul Saunders, pleaded guilty to fishing in the fairway, which is illegal under the harbor rules of 1971. According to court documents, on March 18th at 7:30 a.m., Marine Police patrolling the Port Royal waters observed a red, white, and blue 28-foot fiberglass fishing canoe with the men on board. Saunders and Fang were reportedly casting their nets near the cruise ship pier and were cautioned separately for the offense and arrested. While being cautioned, Fang stated, "Officer, beg you a chance, I may give you some fish." But Saunders appeared more confrontational, saying, "Officer, I go you fi go and stop take set pan fisherman and go look for gunman." After hearing the statements, Senior Parish Judge Lorianne Cole Montague, she no play, she would have to advise the men that she would have to impose a maximum under Section 14B of the Harbor Rules 19 of 1971 fine for breaching the Harbor Act of 1874. She said the act is a very old act. You're fined $5 or $4 or 5 days imprisonment. You can probably leave a change for the government, quote Montague told the man, who could hardly hide their surprise. Saunders, the captain of the vessel, told the court that he had recently been in dialogue with the National Planning and Environmental Agency, NEPA, the Coast Guard, and the Caribbean Maritime Institute to have the laws changed, which would allow him fishing in the fairway, but to no avail. The fairway, the channel, and the reef, we can't fish there. We're fishermen going fish then. The same place where them call the fairway is my fishing ground, and me a fish there from 1974. From me 8-year-old and the grounds don't change, he bemoaned. Advising that he should take his concerns to Parliament, Cole Montague said, I understand your frustration, Let me tell you what is wrong with this country. We don't put our representatives to work. We don't. For example, organize ourselves to say, all right, we're a group of fishermen who are disgruntled. Let us form an organization, let us form a body, and let us lobby, and we can lobby with the MP out there. So as a body, we approach NEPA and try to have our voice heard. But because you've been doing something for a long time without being caught, does not make it less criminal. But the man them a $4 them for pay because the law is that old on the books. At the time when the law went on the books, $4 was a lot of money. Right now, $4 can't even buy a sweetie. And sweetie is candy for my non-Jamaican friends. And we're staying in Jamaica. A corporate area woman stole US $350, which is approximately $61,492 from the wallet of a dead man who she was responsible for. The woman, Dawn Hines, was hired as a caregiver for the man, but the day after he died, she slipped her fingers into his wallet and removed the cash. Hines received a suspended sentence yesterday in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. Hines pleaded guilty to simple larceny, which evokes strong words from Senior Parish Judge Lori Ann Cole Montague. Madam, you were put in a position of trust. You were placed in the home of the deceased to work for him, and you would have had access to places in the home where other persons don't have access to. The man died on Sunday and the money was stolen on Monday. So were you counting down the hours? The judge asked. It was reported by the complainant that her father was ailing for 3 months and Hines was employed as a household helper to care for him since February 14th. Her father died on March 20th, but Hines was remained employed by the family to assist with domestic chores. About 9 p.m., the complainant checked her father's wallet and found US $350 and some local currency. She then folded the money, placed it in a concealed section of the wallet, and put it behind the television. The following day, Hines arrived at the complainant's home and began cleaning the father's room. She was alone at the house between 10:20 a.m. and 4 p.m. The following day, the complainant's brother asked her for the money as only US $1 was left in the wallet. At least she left $1. She never took all of the money. They watched footage from a closed-circuit television that was placed in the father's room, and Hines was seen leaving the room with the wallet and returning minutes later. Although the money was repaid in court yesterday, the judge ordered that an additional $50 US or the local currency equivalency should be paid, accounting for the inconvenience faced by the complainant to attend court. The lady probably was out there hungry, sit down, and her name don't call until 20 minutes after 1. Why should she just get US $350? Miss, look here. Put on another US $50 on that, the judge ordered. But Hines responded that she did not have the money to pay the additional sums. Cole Montague threatened to lock her up if she did not provide it. After almost an hour had elapsed, Hines' daughter, who accompanied her to court, brought an additional $10,000 to pay on her mother's behalf. Cole Montague imposed a sentence of 6 months imprisonment at hard labor, suspended for 18 months, and Hines was made the subject of a fingerprint order. So for US $350, she gonna have a criminal record, because once the fingerprint order is issued and she gets fingerprinted, it's going to go into the national database. So when she go for a police record, if she ever want to travel to big foreign, it are gonna show up. It is going to show up. So for US $350, she blighting our future. She blighting our future. So we're gonna circle around to Dallas, And a Dallas woman with a warrant out for her arrest, who allegedly led deputies on a car chase shortly after midnight on Saturday, was eventually apprehended in an apartment complex. Now, the reason for this particular story was, can you see the smile on her face? That's her mugshot. My girl, Miss Choates, Marlene Choates, thought it was funny to be smiling in her mugshot. She was booked into the Susan Lee Case detention facility and charged with evading arrest in a vehicle, according to the jail records. She's also facing a charge for the manufacture and intent to deliver of a controlled substance between 1 and 4 grams in Rockwall County, which is just east of Dallas. When the deputy tried to pull her over after he spotted her vehicle with the rear license plate light out, she refused to stop. She then eventually got out of her car and ran on foot into the some apartment parking lot, where police caught up with her and arrested her. So her total bond was set at $110,000, and she does not yet have an attorney. But like I said, girlfriend decided that it was okay to be smiling in her mugshot. So, quite interesting. But if you just joined, say hello, say hi. Don't be shy, don't be a stranger. We're going to circle around to Texas right now. And a family pleads for answers after their loved one was shot and killed Saturday morning after a teenager was allegedly playing with a gun. So deputies from the Harris County Sheriff's Office said 18-year-old Naraya Champion was killed at an apartment in South Harris County at about 10 a.m. Harris County's police department said 7 deputies responded to a shooting at an apartment complex in the 3500 block of South Sam Houston Parkway East. When deputies arrived, they found Champion wounded by a gunshot to the abdomen and was being taken by a private vehicle to the hospital. That vehicle, while transporting her to the hospital, was involved in a 1-car crash about a mile from the hospital. She was then transferred to another vehicle, made it to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead when she arrived. Deputies are saying that 17-year-old Zachariah Batiste was charged with manslaughter after deputies says he was playing with a loaded gun that went off and fired a shot into Champion's stomach. A judge set Batiste's bond at $50,000 and he remains in the Harris County Jail. Champion's family is asking any witnesses to step forward and tell investigators exactly what happened. Nothing good can never come from playing with a loaded gun. But we're going to circle around to England. And 4 members of a Jamaican family were stabbed to death in South London in the UK on Monday morning. One of the deceased has been identified as Dolette Hill, who was said to be in her 60s. The other victims were believed to be her husband, her daughter, and her granddaughter. Apparently, Miss Hill is from license in St. Thomas. Allegations are that around 1:40 a.m. on Monday, the Metropolitan Police were notified of screams coming from a home on Delaford Road in Bermondsey in South London. A police forensics officer speaks on the phone as colleagues stand on a street in South London on Monday near the property where the 4 people were stabbed in the early mornings. It was 3 men and a woman. They're saying that a man in his late 20s who was known to the victims has been arrested on suspicion of murder. They haven't stated why. There's no reason given as to why they were killed. They stated that they're not looking for any other persons other than the man in his 20s that they've arrested. So there's no reason yet as to what happened. So But it's just tragic that 4 members of a family gone again just like that. So we're going to circle around to Toronto, and the former Ryerson University has officially changed its name to the Toronto Metropolitan University. The Board of Governors voted last August to change the school name because the name of the institution had been linked to Edgerton Ryerson, who had links to the Canada's residential schools catastrophe. So it was one of the recommendations in the report that came out, and they decided that they were going to change the name from Ryerson University. They've changed it to the Toronto Metropolitan University. And as you know, with everything, with every change, there's people who like it and people who don't. To me, it doesn't matter what they call it, and that's just my opinion. It doesn't change the history of the school. It doesn't change the history of the person that it was named by. I mean, it'll always be known as Ryerson University. It's like Skydome. It's Rogers Center, and it's been Rogers Center for at least 10 years. People still call it Skydome. People still call it Skydome. Air Canada Center. It is now Scotiabank Arena. People still call it the ACC. So it'll still be Ryerson University. It'll still have the stain of Edgerton Ryerson attached to it. But students who are going to school on September will be going to Toronto Metropolitan University, shortened to TMU. Alrighty. So that's where we're at for tonight. So Ryerson University has been renamed to TMU, and for those of you who joined me tonight, I thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for staying with me. We will be doing this again next Thursday at 9 p.m. You can join me live here, Facebook and YouTube at 9 p.m. Or you can join me on the replay on my YouTube channel. And if you go over to the YouTube channel, just subscribe. A girl, I look some subscribers, subscribe. You understand? So, thanks for joining me. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. See you next Thursday, 9 p.m. Same time, same place. Peace out. Bye-bye.